Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Mike Francesa podcast, part of the Bet Rivers Network. We come to you this evening after the first round of the NBA draft, which was, I have to admit, about as uneventful a draft as I can ever remember. I mean, we knew Cooper Flagg was going to Dallas under extremely unusual circumstances. I mean, we've known all year that Cooper Flagg was going to be the first player drafted. We've all spent this year examining Cooper Flagg. He's not Larry Bird. He's not Detlef Schrempf. He's Cooper Flagg. And I think he will be a very, very effective, versatile basketball player. I think what he is he's number one, he's a basketball player. Number two, he has an iron will. Number three, there's nothing he can't do on either end of the floor. He will fill up the stat page. And he needs to improve his his outside shooting a little bit, which I think he will with age. I think that will come because he's a hard worker. Now, the unusual thing with Cooper Flagg is he's going to a team that has veteran players and Hall of Fame players, which is unusual. It's rare. Most times a team with a lottery pick. Now, remember, Dallas won the lottery, and you conspiracy theorists all have that figured out, that was the payoff. But remember, they had a 1.8% chance to get the number one pick, and they got it. So that fueled all the conspiracy, which is, remember, it's 40 years this year that the conspiracy of conspiracies was, enacted when the Patrick Ewing draft happened. And, they hermetically moved the envelope so that he could pick the right, the whole thing. But Flagg goes to a team that can win. The question now in Dallas isn't Flagg who will fit in. And Flagg, of course, says the right thing all the time. I'm going to be a sponge. I'm going to learn. I'm going to learn from Davis. I'm going to learn from Irving. I'm going to learn. And he will, because that's who he is. He's a basketball player. And he is a leader and a winner, and he has an iron will. He loves to compete. He's fierce in his competitive nature, and that's why he'll be a big winner. The question is, Kid wants a contract extension. The Knicks want Kid. Kid evidently wants to get free to get, if you listen to people, might want to get free, or he hasn't told me this, so I'll just take it as a rumor, that Jason wants to get free to come to the Knicks. I don't know that that's a fact. I do know that he wants a contract extension, and they have been at least reluctant to give him the contract extension. So does that mean they give him his freedom, and they make a deal with the Knicks? Who knows? We'll see. Maybe that happens. Maybe it happens tomorrow. Who knows? I think the Knicks have targeted Kid. I don't think there's any question about that. That's their number one guy. Let's see if it happens. So does Cooper Flagg wind up with another coach? We'll see. I wanted to see what the Spurs did. And I'm not knocking Harper as a talent. I think he's a wonderful talent, but I just don't think that was the right fit for them. Considering what they have, they didn't need a player with his skill set. I would have liked Knipple on their team so much better for them moving forward. He goes 4 to Charlotte, and he's going to be lost at Charlotte. Is he a good player? He's a player that if you move him into the right unit, will be sensational, because he's an intangible player who's a great shooter who can do everything. Underrated athlete, tough as nails, plays defense, gets loose balls, rolls on the floor. He is the kind of guy you want on a team that's going to become a champion. He would have been perfect for San Antonio. Perfect. Now, they got themselves a big-time talent in Harper. I'm not knocking that. But it doesn't make them that much better as a basketball team. That's the point. I told you I liked Knipple, and I liked Maliush, who's the center on Duke. He's going to be a little bit more of a project. Now, Phoenix has done everything wrong since the minute they were leading a series and about to win a championship. From that moment on, they've done everything wrong as an NBA team. Now they fix their center position. Now, I don't know if Williams is gonna pass a physical. If he does, if you have him and this kid in Malibu who's gonna be a really good player, he's gonna take a little time. He's learning the game. He's 7 foot. He's a great kid. He's got an incredible wingspan. He's gonna get better offensively. He's gonna be dynamic defensively. This guy's gonna be a really good player. In 2 or 3 years, this kid's gonna be a big time force in this league. It's gonna take him a couple of years, but he's gonna be there, and I love that pick at 10. The Nets went off on this international foray with all the picks and then picked Wolf, who was about to tear up the green room. It looked like if he didn't get picked. And then when he picked, he started crying. So, I mean, and there's a lot of crying tonight. I didn't know there was so much crying in basketball, but boy, there were a lot of guys who got picked tonight and cried. That's something I never seen before, but hey, whatever. You know, everyone's happy. I thought Miami got a good kid. The Illinois kid with the crazy name, Kasparis, Jacques, you know, um, I saw him play last year when he was healthy. He was hurt a lot last year. That kid's gonna be a really good pro. He's made to be a pro. He's made to play pick and roll. He's gonna be, he can pass, he can shoot, he's long, he's gonna be a typical Riley. I mean, he gets a player at 20 who can really play. That guy's gonna be a very good pro. Again, not in a week, 2, 3 years, gonna be a really good player. One of the best players in this draft. I was glad to see Liam McNeely, who was there, finally get drafted. Tough kid. Not a great player, but a tough kid. You know, he's gonna have a long career in the NBA being a second unit player. He's gonna be a tough guy. He's a tough kid. When he played good teams, he scored a lot of points. He was tough against St. John's. He was tough in big games. He was tough in when they played big opponents, he was big. Now, he might have taken a million shots, but you know what? He was competitive. He got to the foul line. He got a lot of points late. He stayed in the game and fought. That's who he is. But overall, kind of a boring draft. Are you interested in how good Clayton is? You know what kind of collegian he was? He's going to be a scorer in the NBA. The question is, can he compensate the physical part with his size? If he does, he's going to be a very, very efficient player because he is a deadly shooter. Deadly. I like Fears too, but Fears thinks he's better than he is. He's got to work really hard to overcome some of the physical things that he has to be able to do. He's got to shoot the ball better. He's a great natural passer, but he's actually so cocky, it's unreal. But he's got a lot of physical talent, and he's got a great handle. I like players that have a great handle and can really pass, and he can do that. He can do that. But like I said, there wasn't much in this draft to get excited about. I was interested in where Cooper Flagg's 2 teammates were going. I think they were the keys to the draft. Right? Bailey would scare me. I don't like his attitude at all. He would scare the heck out of me. Is he talented? Yes. Can he make shots? Absolutely. But something about him, he just worries me. Let's see how he turns out. Does he have talent? Absolutely. He and Harper both have talent. And I'm not knocking Harper. What I'm knocking is the fit. Basketball's about fit. With the talent they already have in San Antonio, Knipple would have been a perfect addition to the team. Didn't happen. All right. Big, underline B-I-G, big win for the Mets. They needed this game. Is it, turn their season around? No. What it does is it gives them a chance to take a deep breath and get everybody off their back for a day. And if they can win the game tomorrow, the goodbye game with the Braves. And remember, then they have the Pirates on the weekend. They don't get Skeens. Then they have Milwaukee, and they will get Moriarty, who in 3 games and beat Skeens today. Now, Skeens, when he gave up the 4 runs today, I watched the game because I wanted to see both those guys pitch today. It was a weird inning. Skeens gave up a walk. He gave up a bloop single. He gave up a walk, and then they bled runs off him. They got him on an infield out. They got him on a little bloop hit. I'm telling you, they nickel and dimed him for 4 runs. Okay, and they didn't hit a hard ball off him. But the other kid, who is enormous, I mean, he's got incredible length. 3-0, 16 innings. He's given up 3 hits. He's 3-0. He's thrown 16 innings, so basically he's been a 5-inning pitcher. 19 strikeouts, 3 hits, and he's 3-0. And the Mets are going to see him next week. So that should be very interesting. And then, of course, they're headed towards the Subway Series on the 4th, 5th, and 6th. We'll have podcasts right after each of the 3 games. As soon as it ends, we'll have a podcast for you on the 4th, on the 5th, even on the 4th, on the 4th, on the 5th, on the 6th. Now, the Yankees, who got a win tonight, and they needed a win because, they didn't want to get swept in Cincinnati. They get a day off tomorrow. They come home. They get the A's. Then they get a couple days with the Blue Jays. And then they go to Citi Field 4th, 5th, 6th. Now, should have a good weekend with the A's. Fried comes in and does what the big pitcher's supposed to do. Stop the losing streak. Minimize the bad turn. Have a couple of losses in a row. You don't want another one. That's when he has to show up and pitch the game. Does it tonight, 10-2. Remember, they hadn't won his last 2 starts. He'd lost his last 2 games. He didn't pitch badly in either game, but he'd lost his last 2 games. Now he's 10-2. Win tonight. Rock and share game against the Reds. Get out of Cincinnati. Pitch it in that ballpark. That's a nice game when you go give up 1 run. I'm sure you saw the game DeGrom pitched tonight. DeGrom had a no-hitter for 6. I mean, he had a perfect game for 6. He gave up a walk. Then he gave up a hit. And they got him out of the game as soon as he gave up a hit. I think it was the first batter in the 8th he gave up the hit to. He pitched 7 innings. DeGrom has pitched really well. I don't think you will see a DeGrom revival in Queens. I do not think that will happen. As a matter of fact, I don't even think they will trade him the way he's pitching. He's pitching that well. I don't think, his ERA now is right around 2. He's pitched really well, and he's starting to get a little more durable. Going a little deeper in the game. If you're going to get 100 pitches out of DeGrom, you're going to get a well-pitched ball game almost every time out. I mean, no one questions whether DeGrom can get people out. The question is, can he stay on the mound? Now, could he impact a pennant race? Enormously. But remember, trading for DeGrom is really scary for a contender. For what they're going to give up. Forget what they're going to pay him. What they're going to give up to get him. And you don't know when he's going back on the shelf. You just don't. That's been his career. And you know that if you hear that DeGrom is on the sideline for 6 weeks at any moment, would you be surprised? Of course not. That is DeGrom's career. He hasn't battled the other team. He's battled health. Then that people beat on the DeGrom, it's that he can't get on the mound. I mean, he's a Hall of Fame pitcher without there's no argument. There's no discussion. The question is, can he stay healthy? And the answer really is no, he can't. We all know the pitchers. Mets have one right now. He can't stay on the mound. They can't stay on the mound. Doesn't matter how good they are. You know, to be great, you gotta play. You gotta dance the dances if you're gonna be an all-time great. That's part of it. If you can't be durable, you're not gonna be an all-time great. You know, I often reference Mantle in a lot of ways with greatness, as everyone knows, but as injury prone as he was, and as hard as he was on himself with his extracurricular activities, for which he needs to be held, you know, to blame. I mean, which we all know. He did not take care of himself. He went out and caroused and drank, but he was able to play 2,400 games. And that's why he's an immortal player. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been. You can't play half the games and get the job done. It's part of the equation. I just don't expect him to be dealt. I think there's too many issues back and forth. Plus, I don't think Texas wants to give him away. I wouldn't. But there's going to be a lot of talk about him, obviously, going forward. Now, one thing the Mets need, and tonight in that win, the headline, of course, is Soto hitting 2 home runs. And really, you're starting to see tonight you saw it, the exchange of goodwill, the melting of any issues between the Met faithful and Soto. It's clearly becoming his home. And now he's got 19 home runs. He's hit 10 this month. He hit 2 tonight. All of a sudden, he leads the major leagues in walks. He's in the top 5 in on-base percentage. He's got 19 home runs, and he's had a lousy first half. All of a sudden, he's approaching 900 OPS. The only number that really looks is his run scored number is very high. The only number that looks bad is he still hasn't had a lot of RBIs. He's got 45, which is not terrible, but it's not great. And he's got to hit late and close. He's got to get big hits when they're down in those late game situations. That's the thing that has to come now. But there's no more any issues with Soto, obviously, as he now has turned torrid here in June. The Met record for home runs in the month of June is 13. He's got 4 games left to change that. I doubt he will, but that's not the point. The point is he has arrived. Did any of us really doubt that he ever would? The only question is when he would arrive. He has arrived. The Mets needed that game. You'd love to see them get that game tomorrow. I'm not telling you, as I said to the other day, I don't think the Mets are going to run off 8 in a row now. I don't think they are ready to do that. What they need to do is go 4-4 or 5-5 the next 10 games and just stop the bleeding. Start to get their pitching back in order. Get some well-pitched starts, which will salvage their bullpen. Or let them kind of mend and heal and start to make they need moves. One of the things they need is they need Vientos to come back and be Vientos. He's coming back tomorrow. Whether he plays third base or DH, it doesn't matter. They need his bat in the lineup, and they need him to be the player he was last year. If that is not there, it is a big void, considering what they already are missing in the bottom of the order from last year. And what they're missing more than anything else is the magic that team had last year and its ability to rally and its ability to score runs in strange places, to get guys at the bottom of the order to have multiple big performances and meaningful hits and meaningful spots. They're not getting any of that this year. That has to change. Stearns is smart. He will make the right moves. And he doesn't have to go get a superstar player to make the right move. He has to get the right player. There's a right fit. It doesn't have to be a star player all the time. It can be the right player at the right time in the right spot. That's the move that makes the difference. That's the guy that makes he might be an aging guy, might be a guy who's unhappy somewhere, he might be a guy that you never even thought about who makes the difference. And clearly, they have stressed their bullpen because their starting pitching has sprung leaks and had injuries and had poor performances. They need a couple of well-pitched games. Tonight was a step in the right direction. So the Yankees get out of Cincinnati with a win, get a day off, and then get to come home and play the A's, which should make it a comfortable weekend. And the Mets have one more date with the Braves, which is obviously always a big deal before they play Pittsburgh. And they won't see Skeens. And remember, next week, as we head to the 4th of July weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we'll have podcasts after each of the Subway Series games as we get Subway Series 2. And let's be honest, we don't know what's going to happen and whether these teams are going to continue their tailspins the next 5 or 6 days, or one of them is going to go off and run in a little winning streak. We don't know. We'll see what happens. But those are going to be big games no matter what for both teams because they're trying to find themselves after lousy stretches, both of them. The Mets has been worse than the Yankees, but they've both been neither one has been good. And those games will be meaningful. We'll see you later.